Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Alyssa Fitchie.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a minute since the last time you were on was like about 2 years ago? I
Oh,
think.
at least it's been a couple years.
It's been a couple years. It's good to see you. You look great. You look blessed, highly
Thank
favored.
you. Thank you. I received that.
For those that don't know, Alyssa and I go way back. We go way back. I met you on set. Met you on set.
Yeah.
You were, she was like, she's a super cool girl doing makeup and like, just doing all the things. So yeah, and look at us. Look at us. We are still doing it to this
Still
day.
friends, still chatting it up,
You know, you
still
know.
working together.
Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. But yeah, tell me a little bit about your childhood growing up, like baby Alyssa, and like what was that like, and kind of making your way into what you're doing now.
Okay. Um, you know, to be honest, I kind of don't remember.
Same.
I think, yeah, yeah. I'm like, I think there were some things in my childhood that my brain just kind of suppressed. And I've been trying to like reflect a little bit on like who was I when I was younger.
Hmm.
And I think I really start remembering things starting at like 10 years old. Anything after that, not quite sure that I fully remember. But from what my mom has shared with me, I was the girl who was really content playing by herself,
Hmm.
kind of a quiet, more like sensitive type
Oh,
kid, but also very silly. Like if I remember one Christmas, I got this book from the library. It was like a book of plays,
hmm.
and our family would get together. So I had tons of cousins growing up, and I made them all learn lines from this playbook
Love it.
and was like, we're performing this for our family. So I made like all the adults sit down and watch us do this play from this playbook that I got from the library. So I think, I don't know, performance arts, that's what it is. Performance arts, creativity,
Hmm.
production, all of those things have kind of been in my little wheelhouse
Like
since I
that.
was young. My mom said I was always singing, always, like
Oh.
the point where she was like, Alyssa, you gotta be quiet. Just singing all the time. Um, and yeah, I mean that just kind of gradually progressed into my adult years.
Hmm.
I did some plays in high school. I was in choir,
Nice.
but I was very, very shy. Like
Really? I don't take you for that type. You're not.
I know. It took a while. I think I told you maybe on the last podcast that like the first time somebody found out I could sing was like at youth group, and they're like, "We want you to sing on stage," and I made them turn the microphone off, and I was like hiding in a fake ficus tree and was like, "Sure, I'll be up here, but I'm not brave." And
Aw.
I think that's like light years away from where I am now, and
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Would you say
So
singing kind of got you out of like being, or just I don't know, just doing more of it kind of got you less shy as you got older? Because you're like the most bold person I've ever known, and I love it. Like it's great. I'm like, yes.
I do. Being on stage in front of a lot of people,
Yeah.
it just forces you to kind of go to a different place. It's almost like I step into like a true version of myself that's like
Mm.
not afraid, but
Hmm.
knows to be like, this is my area of authority, kind
I
of.
love that.
Um, But yeah, it took a little while. It took a lot of like pushing forward the people
Hmm.
who are around me, and um, it definitely has helped me have confidence in other aspects of my life to be like, you've sang in front of thousands of people, you can go and network and talk to like one person. It's like not scary.
Absolutely. No, I think that is so cool that, you know, you have like you're doing multiple things. You know, you're not just you're super talented. And I guess that's what an artist is. It's you're not just one thing, which I love that. Like not you're not putting yourself or limiting yourself and putting yourself in a box, because I think most people feel like, well, if I do this, I have to just focus on this and this is
Yeah.
the thing. But I think that's actually for the furthest from the truth. I think when you expand, you find out a lot of different things about yourself that you're like, wow, or you know, looking over in this direction opens that door, and you're like, I would have never thought, you know. So have you like, as far as like, because I met you, you were doing makeup and like I didn't know you could sing, and then when you opened your voice, you started singing that day on set, I was like, who are you? Like, what's happening right now? Why are you doing makeup? Like, why are you here with us? We are not worthy. Like,
Oh
you have
my
a
gosh,
gift.
get
Like, it
out of
was,
here.
I even told you, I was like, whoa. I was like blown away.
Thank you.
And I mean, was like, so has that, is that something you like, as far as like creating, do you not like, I love that you're just someone like who's a, you just don't put yourself in a box. Have you always been that way, just creatively? You just want to do everything?
Yeah, I think I have. I I used to be really jealous of the people who like knew
Oh, yeah.
from
Okay.
birth, like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a whatever, I'm a designer, I'm this. Um, and I've truly never been that way. And for a while, I really struggled with that. It felt like, oh my goodness, my world is constantly evolving and always changing. And I just really wish that I like knew
Hmm.
what one thing would I do so that I could like focus all my energy on that and be like, this is me, this is who
This
I
is
am.
it. Yeah.
Um, so it's taken me a while actually to kind of get out of that mindset and say, you're an artist. And what does that
Yeah.
entail? It entails creativity in multiple facets. And the older I get, the more thankful I've actually become
Hmm.
by not having that one strict path, by
Yeah.
kind of my personality forcing me to be flexible
Hmm.
in the opportunities that are going to arise and like where I get to go in life. And truly, Meosha, like you know this, the things that I've gotten to do because of that flexibility, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, why did somebody pick me to do this? And
Right.
like, why am I on set here? Like, how
Hmm.
did this come about? And it's really just like the saying yes,
Yeah.
the yes factor of
Ooh,
like, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
that's
With
it.
like how many doors it opens.
Yes.
I realized one day you're like, I'm not the person that should be in this room, but like here I am. I don't know. I'm gonna fake it till I make it and be like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's really uh, to go back to your question. I think it's been that belief of like, yeah, I could do that. My
Yeah.
dad really instilled in me because my dad's really similar. I think I inherited this from him. He's an entrepreneur, has been that since I was born.
Yeah.
Um, but he also doesn't funnel himself into like one thing of like he's a very successful business owner, but within that business, he has branched out to so many other things.
Yeah.
And his philosophy that I think I just picked up on was like, if someone else can do it, I can also do it, and maybe I'll do it better.
Ooh, I like that.
More just because like I'm going to learn how to do that. Like there's, I think I think there's a fear or maybe like a self doubt of like, I can't learn how to do that. And to me, I'm like, why not? Why can't I learn? Somebody else learned how to do it. So why can't I learn
Exactly.
how to do it?
Exactly.
And I think it's been that attitude of that has just kind of gotten me to where I am.
Ooh. You said something so powerful. Yes. Like it's
Mm.
literally that. And I
Hmm.
feel I feel the same way when I think about like when someone's like, how did that, wow, you did that. And I'm thinking like all I said was yeah, and I just did it. Like I just didn't doubt it. I just went for it.
Right.
It
Right.
was literally that. I mean, even if I wasn't really 100% sure what the heck I was doing, I'm like you said, sure,
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, we're
Why
here.
not? Yeah.
And then you look back because of your yes, you look back and you're like, whoa, like I didn't think I would even be in this room right now. Like that wasn't even on my mind.
100%. 100%.
It's
I mean, even in the way that you and I met on that
yeah,
film set, it
yeah,
was, you know, everyone there was a stranger to me,
yeah,
like, except for maybe one person
yeah.
that I had worked with a couple times. And it's more just like you get that call, somebody thinks of you, you get that call, and you think to yourself, do I want to do this? Like, and you just kind of know when to say yes and when to say no. You know when an opportunity is for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back and I'm like, that yes led to relationships that form. Like, granted, girl, you and I both know that that experience was whack. Like, it was not. It was like, I probably wouldn't say yes to that again if I knew what it was. But I look
Right.
back on like two significant relationships, being you and then our friend Stacy, and
Yeah.
what has come out of that was worth it. It was
Yeah.
like that was what I was there for. Not
Mm.
necessarily like
Yeah.
the everything else. It was like being connected to you and to her has been woo, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that was what that yes was pointing to, and it has opened up so many other things
Oh yeah.
because of that.
It's pretty wild when I think, it's that is so powerful to me because when I look at stuff like, I look at moguls or people that I aspire to be like in business or whatever. Um and and all they always say is what you just said. Yes, they just answer the call. Like there's many are called, right? Few are
Mm-hmm.
chosen because few people pick up the call and say yes to it. And because, like you said, when you're, yes, you can be fearful, but when you step out on faith and just stepping out in itself, because most people don't, if you
Right.
just don't take that first step, you know, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get out of whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Right.
That, yeah. So I find that amazing. And I feel the same way. Like, I'm so grateful that I said yes to that set. And I mean, like I said, like you just said, we met and Stacy, and I agree. It's a beautiful thing. Let's get to your music a little bit.
Okay.
You are super talented. I mean, a phenomenal, beautiful voice. Um, when you're creating music, like I always like to ask people who could sing or write and like go into the booth and make a song, what's your process like? What inspires you? Like, how do you know, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the song I want to lay down the track.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and do it. Cause I get in my head about stuff too. So I'm
Oh,
curious.
100%. Prior to maybe the last 2 years, I have always been inspired by other people's stories.
Mm.
I have a lot of deep connections and they share their experiences with me. And I sometimes will like write a song about it. Um, but flip to like the most current process of how I'm writing music.
Hmm.
Um, for the first time ever in my life, I'm writing about me. And
Ooh, I
that
like that.
was something that every time I tried,
Mm.
it was almost impossible for me. Like, why can't I share my vulnerability in a song, even if it's just for myself? I'm like, I don't know why I can't reach that. And in the past couple of years, it's like I've actually intentionally gotten to know myself.
I love that.
And I have somehow opened up some sort of like connection with me, that I'm now wanting to put into music and that I'm not having such a struggle doing anymore. And currently, what I'm inspired by is astrology. It's
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
that, like, you know, grew up in like a religious household. It originally was like taboo. It was like, oh, that's like nothing, like just read your horoscope and then move on. Like it's like a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Um, but the more that I get to know, it's just so fascinating to me, whether it's like a true science or whatever it is. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's just been around for so long. Um, that as I'm allowing myself to be curious, I would say that has been the number one unlocking factor for me
Let
is
me write that
curiosity.
down.
Yeah.
That's good.
Um, yeah, I didn't notice. I will be like, huh, curious. And I didn't notice that that's like my catchphrase. Like friends will be like, huh, curious, as like mocking me. But it's something that I'm like, oh my gosh, as I have allowed myself to be curious,
Hmm.
I have learned so much because I'm no longer putting these like boundaries on myself of like what I can be curious about. Um, and just ask the question about. And so, how that relates to music is when I go into writing mode, a studio, whatever it is,
Hmm.
to me, I need to hear a melody first.
Okay.
Um, and then I can write the song to it. So
Mm.
how the process for how it's going right now is a friend of mine. Oh, I cannot wait until he like grows in his confidence to like release his stuff. But girl, it's just like melodic beautiful beats that
Wow.
I have had the pleasure to be like, yo, we can make a song out of this.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he's like, no, we can't. I'm like, yes, we can. And so he and I just like, there was no intentional thing that was going to come out of this. It was just him showing me like, hey, this is what I'm working on, this is what I do in my little music room. And I'm like, I'm gonna write to that.
I love that.
um and so I hear the melody and then I just start humming and I just start thinking, and with my music I want to tell a story. Like I picture a character in my head and I'm like, what's the character feeling, where would
Mm.
this go?
Hmm.
um what is the whole complete story that I'm trying to say? And for the first time ever, I'm not writing about love.
Wow.
Which is, I know it's
Wow. I like that.
yeah,
I like this place that you're
I
in.
know it's what the project we're working on right now. Like, I not all the songs are done, all that stuff, but like I have a character, I have her
Ooh.
journey she's going on, like I know it in my head.
Wow.
And I know each song is going to relate to an astrological sign or
Oh, that's interesting.
planetary figure. So, like the song that maybe I'll plug later at the end of this podcast is all
Yes.
about Saturn, but in a way of like what Saturn represents. Saturn
Hmm.
represents like authority and change and
Mm.
responsibility. And like, I don't know if you've ever heard of like a Saturn return, but it's generally around like your 28th to 31st, whatever birthday.
Mm.
And it's like where Saturn goes back to where it was when you were
Oh,
born.
interesting.
And it's like that big shift change in your life where people kind of set down the youthful things and kind of step into like, huh, I'm going to almost grow. I'm going to grow in a way that I'm not going to like look back from.
Ooh,
um
that's good. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And when I'm writing these songs, it's like I I'm researching like actual facts. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, what's a scientific fact about Saturn and how can I bring that into
I like that.
the music, right? Where like, I don't know, like I looked up this fact and this may or may not be true. Google said it was, but it's a cool line in the song, but it's like I learned that like the pressure on Saturn like can cause it to rain diamonds. And
Oh.
so like in one of the lyrics it says like diamond rain, and I'm talking about that, and it's like included in the lyrics, and it's like the rings of Saturn, they start to freeze the night. Like Saturn's rings are cold, and like the things that you're going through, like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a sun setting
Mm-hmm.
on your old, and it's kind of circling back to
Um,
what I hope will be like the next song in the album of like Mars or how the moon affects you. Like there's a song that I'm writing, like it's partially done, and it's called Mars Monster.
I like it.
And Mars is like this, it's like the planet of sensuality, of like anger and like all of that passion put together. So I'm like, how do I write a sexy song that's about
Ooh, we're getting
Mars?
sexy.
And yeah, but it's like, but it's
Yay.
like this character, this girl. So
I love it.
I'll just share with you, like the character that I'm writing is this girl. She's like a high class socialite. Um, but she like never really wants to conform to like that high class society and all of the
Mm.
rules and things that go on it. So she like escapes. She escapes, and as she's escaping and kind of like traveling through the universe to get to where she's eventually going to be, like her life path, she's bumping into these planetary objects like the moon, Saturn, Mars, and she's experiencing their energies.
Oh.
And like as she's doing that, she's growing and like going into herself, and it's like almost like mirroring my own life of
Ooh,
like,
I like
ooh, as
that.
I'm curious, as I'm stepping into these new energies and interacting with different people, what's the evolution that I'm going through?
Mm. Oh, I
And
can't
it
wait.
comes, yeah, like it comes out in
It sounds
like,
amazing.
right. And so like the Saturn one, one of my favorite lines, it says like rebaptized in transmuted fate. It's like, you know, like adding that spiritual background that I came from, but it's like, oh, I'm now rebaptized into a changed future, like a new future that's growing out of this metamorphosis that I've gone through in my life. But
Mm.
it's not necessarily like gonna be that obvious that like, oh, I'm talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
um it's more just like, how does anybody else interpret this? And for all of my like space girlies, you know, it's like, what are they gonna learn? I don't know.
I love that. Whoa. That you made the pitch. That was an amazing. You got it. Like
Thanks,
that is
girl.
going to be, I mean, even visually, that's going to be absolutely insane when that comes
Mm-hmm.
out. Like, wow, that's kudos to you. Like, that's amazing, girl.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Thank you.
Um, we're gonna, so I feel like I want to stay here a little longer because this is really good, but I have a really fun question.
Okay.
Um, if you could perform with anyone, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good question. You know, I feel like my most common answer is Adele.
Yeah.
But right now I'm leaning towards like Mariah Carey, but like
Mm.
her like Emotions album, like old
Oh
Mariah
yeah.
Carey, like young Mariah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good one.
I think that would be so fun. Like her, she has been such an inspiration to me musically,
Mhm.
and the way that she can manipulate her voice to kind of be basically whatever she wants it to be.
Yeah.
Like old Mariah, I would say.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. Old Mariah. I agree. Yeah. Young Mariah for sure. Older
Old
Mariah,
stuff. Yeah,
not too
yeah,
into, but she,
yeah.
hey, love her though. Love her.
True.
Um, I always like to ask this question, and it's a, I mean, there's no wrong answer, but it's the three levels of influence. And there's money, power, and then there's respect. If you could choose one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, this is easy for me. Um, Respect,
Okay.
which I also would translate into love.
Mm,
Um, because I feel like when you respect someone, at least for me, there's a level of love and admiration there. I don't really respect people that I don't value.
yeah.
Um, and so I think respect goes a long, long way. And I think it has it's been the reason why I get to do all the things I get to do. It's not because I have money or power, it's because people respect me and value me. So they invite me into spaces.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would absolutely say I actually wrote like a college paper on this question. It was,
Really?
yeah, like we were studying the human condition or whatever it was, and it was like, would you rather be loved or feared? Um,
Uh-huh. Wow.
and my essay, she put on the projector and like read to the whole
Wow.
class.
What'd you put?
It
Loved?
was love. Because I think like when you're fearful, people are or feared, people are really only obeying you because they're fearing punishment.
True.
Um, and fearing that like if they mess up, like the all-powerful, whatever fearful person, but love, people will go through leaps and bounds for you because they love you. Like love is
Yeah,
the more powerful motivator.
you're right.
Um, and like you see it all over. I mean, even politically,
Oh yeah.
leaders that like people love
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to people fear. Like when you see those movements going on and stuff, like it's
Yeah.
the ones where they love their leader, like those ones, they're so much more than someone who's trying to like escape the person who they fear.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say respect.
I like that.
Yeah.
RESPCT. Okay.
Yeah.
um, I that was a great answer. I had one guy say, what did he say? He said money. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm like, hey, look, it's your life.
Yeah.
No
Hey, it gets you,
judgments here.
money gets you places. I mean, it's a
You know?
tool to get you to where you want to be. Like, I'm like, yes, Lord, to all the money that wants to come my way. Like, I receive
Yes,
that.
I
Thank you
receive
so
it.
much. But hey, like, to each your own.
Absolutely. Um, you know, I, I interview a lot of people and I love to ask this question because the answer is different and I always get something really informative out of this answer, this question. Um, when everybody, we're not always at the top of the mountain, not every day, but when you're in your lowest of times and you're going through things in life, what keeps you going?
I mean, my community.
Your community.
I have incredible friends who are not afraid to like give you the truth.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you're in that low because you're not accepting the truth. Like
Ooh, that's good.
it's true though. Like
That's real.
sometimes like you are pushing and fighting towards something and you're in that low because you're not actually realizing like, yo, this isn't for you. Like you're hurting over something that's not even yours. And
Ooh.
like I have friends who they bring me back down to earth. So I would say 100% my community, like the people that I've surrounded myself with, they are family.
Yeah.
Um, they're supportive. They are my sounding board. They are the people who are just gonna walk by me and like let me cry, let me be angry, like
Yeah.
they're so important to me. And I think another thing too is like I have some sort of like deeply ingrained optimism.
Mm.
I think that goes hand in hand with faith and
Yeah.
saying like, this at the end of a mountain, there's always a peak. Like it's life is a wave, and uh, it never stays bad. And it's like that optimism to be like, okay, well, just like the seasons, like our earth goes through a winter where things need to be pruned and things look dead, but then
Hmm.
spring comes. It's like we have an example like that we live through every year to be like, things aren't always going to be down on this low. And sometimes you need that low. I was just talking with somebody who is raising their kids,
Hmm.
and they're like, they are practicing parenthood in the way that's like, man, you don't want your kids to go through pain, but then you recognize that it's actually, they need that. And it's hard to recognize that and let them go through that. And pain is one of the greatest teachers. It's a gift to us, actually. It tells us that something's wrong. It tells us that something's not right, and be
Hmm.
like, hey, look over here. You cut your finger. If you did not feel that pain, you wouldn't know that you're bleeding out.
Not at
Like
all.
you just wouldn't. You just be
Yeah,
going about your daily life. Like you would not know that something was wrong. And
it's
so
true.
I think looking at pain as a teacher, I mean, like the greatest things that I've gone through that have been like, man, I'm in a low. And let me tell you, those seasons have lasted for a lot longer than I would have ever asked for, like
Right.
years. I can
Yeah.
look back on periods of my life and be like, ooh, I was in a low for years.
Yeah.
Um, but what that pain did to teach me about where I'm at now,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
it expanded my consciousness to be that much more empathetic, that much more relatable to people, that much more kind and generous and understanding. Um, Less judgmental, more just like, again, curious, like
Yeah.
just like, huh, like that person's in a low, like why are they there? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I love that.
yeah, I would say, I would say that is what
Yeah.
keeps me going.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. Every time I talk to you, it feels like I'm going to church, or I have like there's
Yeah.
a word and I need to like I don't know,
You're like,
every
oh, that got
time.
me.
I'm like, oh, I felt that in my soul. Like my soul is like,
Yeah,
wow, did you feel that? Did you hear what she just
right.
said? I'm like, yes. Did you hear it?
I also do want to add on top of that, like my creativity keeps me
Yes.
going. Like,
1000.
like if I'm in a low, you're gonna find me in front of my piano. Like that's my prayer. That's my place where like that's my journal,
Yeah.
like being creative, like it brings you back to yourself. Like
Yeah.
you sit down and you just like paint a picture. For you it's like, oh, I'm gonna write a short story, I'm gonna film this, I'm gonna turn this into something, whatever. Like
Hmm.
creativity, I think, is a lifeline for a lot of people,
Oh yeah.
and um, definitely helps me in my lows.
Love that. Do you think you found your purpose in life?
Uh, I think I'm like right there. I
Yeah.
think this season in my life is like, I just feel it in my bones. And I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh, right now is when it's going to all click into place for me.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. So I think I'm really close.
Hmm.
And I think it's going to come with more bravery than I have ever had, more
Yeah.
like vulnerability and
Yeah.
allowing people to see me, um, which has not been the case for a long time. I'm like, oh, I can present to you a mask that I feel really comfortable sharing with you. Like I've perfected that mask, like that charming whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
but I really think the purpose, or like what's actually going to kind of propel me into the next phase of my adult life, is the raw, um, letting people into the raw version, like the maskless
Mm-hmm.
one, which I think is again coming out in that record that I'm slowly but surely uh producing.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that. That's real. That's honest. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good. A
I,
bonus, huh? What? Go.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
want to go
Yes.
back to
Yes. Yes.
you and I had a conversation the other day actually about purpose.
Yeah.
And I just want to put this out there for like anyone listening. And what you and I had talked about was that like purpose is such a huge, we look at it as like this one thing,
Right.
right? Like, oh,
Mhm.
I am, my purpose is this.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about like, well, what if purpose is fluid? What if purpose is flexible? That your
Hmm.
purpose was one thing in the earlier part of your life. And as you grow, your purpose also molds and is fluid and flexible for that next season, that next phase.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off of just having one singular goal, one singular purpose. And maybe that goes hand in hand with the fact that, like, my life's never been linear. It's like
Hmm.
your career goes this way and then it goes here. And that's the purpose. It's like, oh, I was meant to be this person in this season and connect with these people. But now my purpose is this. It's grown, it's evolved, it's changed. And like you can look and see like a common thread throughout your life, but
Oh yeah.
it's like when you hold your purpose with like openness, it really, I think it tells you like, okay, this is now like I'm not going to hold my purpose up here and be like,
Yeah.
this is the one thing. It's like, no, now you're going to move into this, right? Like
Yes.
I'm not a mother. That's currently not my purpose. But like
Right.
if I step into motherhood, now my purpose is like being a mother. And what does that look like? That's like,
Right.
and that's not true for everyone, but like it's what their path directs them on. Like, yeah, currently like that's not my goal, but
Mhm.
it might be. And
Yeah.
then your priorities change, your purpose change. So, anyways, yeah, just wanted to just be like, hey, like your purpose can be fluid, it can
Yes.
be multifaceted, it's not only one singular thing.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that for sure. Bonus question.
Okay.
At the end of your life, you know, you get to the pearly gates of heaven and God says, what he says. What do you want God to say about you and the work that you've done?
Ooh, what did you say about me? Um, wow. I hope that, let me think about this for a hot second.
I got you. That was good,
Yeah,
right?
that is a good one. Um, I just want to be remembered as somebody who like loved really deeply. Like
Yeah.
I would love to be remembered as like you were a really, really good friend.
Man.
That's important to me. Like my community, like I said, they're my family. Um, and I hope that I would also be remembered as like a teacher, not necessarily in like, oh, I'm specifically educating you on things, but
Mhm.
that the more that I got to learn myself, the more that freed other people and inspired them
Yeah.
to
I like
learn more about themselves. And like that's teaching them in some way, like, yeah, an inspirational teacher to like know themselves and that was my impact on the world.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you're doing just that. You're doing just
Thanks.
that. Um, so tell us about, where can we find you on social media so people can follow you and all that you got going on.
All right. You can find me at Alyssa_Fitchie. It will be in the show notes, maybe. Yeah.
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
great. That's my like personal account. You can just like follow along on my life. And you'll get glimpses of hair and makeup work that I'm doing and just my life. Musically, you can find me anywhere you really listen to music. My band is called Tropique, Tropique. And the single we have out right now is called Freeze the Night. And yeah, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, like anywhere you want to hear it. I would be thrilled if you listen to it, and I'm really proud of it. So
Go listen to it, everybody. Follow her. Follow her. Yes.
yeah,
Thank you so much for
thanks for
blessing
having
us
me.
with your, yeah, I mean, come on, anytime. You can like come on, co-host. Come on every day.
Yeah.
Uh
Well, for those of the people don't know, like I'm the introduction, the voice
yeah.
of your
Oh yeah.
podcast.
Oh my God. Let hold on. Yes. Yes, everybody, listen. The opening of our show, Creators to Creators, the beautiful voice is the one and only
Oh my
Alyssa.
gosh.
This beautiful, beautiful light. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I mean, I just, it's so, I love it. I love it. It's my
Okay.
favorite. And I'm like, oh, I love
Okay.
this. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, thank you so much. Thank
Oh,
you
I
so
also
much.
just want to plug that you and I made a short film together, and I love it. Like, I just love, like, you could see us work together on the little short film that you did.
Oh,
I love
yes. That was so
it.
much fun. By the way, I repackaged that short film up and I put it as an anthology. And
Nice.
I put a trailer out on Instagram. And it's so funny how I don't know, I just thought, I put like these anthologies together and I put the trailer out on Instagram and a company saw it and we're like, "Oh, can we put it on our time that our website?" And they're based out in Canada or something, I believe. And it's women. It's women in film. Like it's basically women in film. It's women filmmakers, only women content directors who have their films on their website. So it's on there. It's on there. If you want to watch it, if you want to watch it,
That
it's on
little
there
thing,
too.
it's like the little engine that could.
I mean, it's
Like,
every. I'm
it
like,
really,
how?
it was like the quickest idea. I love it. It's just, I never get tired of looking at it or
Oh,
watching it. Like, it was so much fun to make.
it was fun.
And I just think you did a fantastic job filming and editing. And
Thank you. You did
yeah, so
too.
everyone
You
go
killed
check
it.
that out. It was really fun.
Yes, go watch it, Delusions. But the actual package of the anthology, it's called M.V.B Films Horror Volume 3. It is on Women's Real Network. It is on YouTube, actually. Yes, YouTube. A company out of Italy has the entire film on their site, and they have over 1.7 million followers. It's on there. Actually, I'll
Amazing.
send you the link to
Yeah,
that. And it has, I
please
mean, it's
do.
getting a lot of views. It's crazy. So yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
All
go
right.
watch it.
Yes.
All right, honey. I love you. Thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll catch you guys later.